It's the night before Iowa.
Yeah.
This is not your first rodeo. How are you feeling? How does it feel out there?
I'm feeling good. There's a lot of energy out there. There's a lot of enthusiasm. Been in a lot of counties all over the country, all over the state, and it feels good. I think it's going to be very close, though. The Iowan voters are really probably more energized this time than any time I've seen.
You have a bus that says this is about the soul of the nation. Do you feel like this is a race, the Democratic race is about the soul of the party and what the party stands for?
I think the party is united in making sure that, one, we want to reestablish what I call the soul of the nation, some decency, honor, respect, treating people with, in a way that is not degrading. And so I think, and we have very big differences on what constitutes healthcare, what constitutes how we approach climate change, what constitutes education and how we approach it. But we're all in the same field.
Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, who of course is a Bernie Sanders supporter, says that if we were in a different country, she'd be in a different party than you. That it really is a different party now. That you represent something old, they represent the future of the party.
Well, let me just look at the last election. We won back the House of Representatives with 41 people who took back Republican seats. I went into 24 states, and what's happened? What's happened is we won. And we won in Republican districts. We made classic arguments.
Bernie Sanders has an overwhelming majority of the young voters under 50.
Not under 50.
Yes, under 50.
I don't believe that.
More than you?
I don't believe that. I think he has a significant number of voters that between the ages of 18 and 30. I think that's true. And a number of the millennials that are a significant number of millennials. But I think I'm the only one that has broad support with brown, black, young, old, women, men, working class folks. So I don't buy into that.
What is your argument to young voters who think, well, Joe Biden represents a different kind of politics that's been done before? Pete Buttigieg says it represents an old playbook, and so nominating you is a risky choice.
Well, you think this for a third term for Barack Obama? Would he say it's a risky choice?
Is that how you see it? A third term for Barack Obama?
No, my point is I see it as moving on from what we started. I think, look, one of the reasons I'm running is because of my experience. Who's going to be ready on day one to pick up the phone and call any world leader? And they know who he is, and he knows who they are.
Let's talk about impeachment. The Republicans are on track to acquit the president this week. You've been someone who's talked about being able to work across the aisle. Is there anything about how this impeachment trial has unfolded that has shaken your faith in your ability to work with the Mitch McConnell or Republicans?
It hasn't shaken my faith in being able to work with at least somewhere between 7 and 15 of the Republicans are there. I think you're going to see the world change with Trump gone.
So you think you can work with Mitch McConnell still?
I think on certain things I can work with. And my hope is he won't be majority leader any longer. Because the other thing I think is important is who's going to be able to go in and help Democrats win back the Senate.
Has it occurred to you that there's a certain irony here, that here the president is accused of and has acknowledged wanting to get information about your son Hunter and his dealings with Ukraine, and this process of impeachment has ensured that everyone knows about Hunter's dealings with Ukraine?
That's a good thing, and no one's found anything wrong with his dealings with Ukraine except they say it sets a bad image.
Well, do you agree that it sets a bad image?
And my son said that.
Do you think it was wrong for him to take that position?
No.
Knowing that it was really because that company wanted access to you? Well,
that's not true. You're saying things you do not know what you're talking about. No one said that. Who said that?
Don't you think that it's just one of those things where people think, well, that seems kind of sleazy. Why would he have that job if not for who his father was?
Because he's a very bright guy.
I guess the question I'm kind of asking is, was it right?
His appearance.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, he said he regretted having done it.
Yeah.
Speaks for himself. He's a grown man.
You going to predict a win tomorrow night?
I don't predict wins because I'm superstitious, but I predict we'll do very well. We're going to come out of Iowa, and several more are going to come out of Iowa. We then have 2 primaries and 1 more caucus. I think at the end of that time, you're going to have a clear idea of who's where and how, and I feel very good about where I am.